Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Luchauskas. Today's the 5th of July 2018, so welcome everyone. Good morning again. So we're going to have a look at a few instruments that I believe are quite important to keep an eye on today. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, just a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers website, and specifically if you go here on research and click on JFD research, then yep, it will take you to our little page here, which we update on a daily basis, and we throw out different trading shoutouts and technical analysis, and of course we produce our daily analysis that we throw out every morning. So it's currently getting prepared, so feel free to check us out later on today. And I think you can find something useful for yourself. But for now, let's quickly have a look at the charts. The first one I want to actually touch on is the FTSE 100. Now, currently looking at this bigger picture, we can see that this continues to move lower here, continues to trade below this downwards moving trend line that has been running here from the peak that we had on the 22nd of May, and certainly for now, until that is broken, we will probably remain more to the downside rather than the upside. So but like I said, it is currently moving lower. Now, you could probably argue here and say that maybe this is just a small correction right now before another push higher. That is correct, that is true, but for that we would need to see a nice break and a close on the daily chart above this downwards moving trend line in order to kind of start examining that potential scenario. So for now we're stuck here, especially we're stuck here. We can see that between these levels here, approximately around the 76.40 and the low that we had here around the 25th of June. Position ourselves for this one. Now let me just get rid of this a little bit. So currently, we can see that we're trading here below this downwards moving trend line. We're stuck below these two levels, and let's slightly adjust this level right here, guys. Let's put it to the top here, around this one here. So for now, certainly if we get a nice pop here above the 76.36, we could end up testing this downwards moving trend line that I was just talking about. Now certainly, of course, if we start breaking that one, this is where we could start positioning ourselves for a potential move higher. And certainly if we do enter a position around this area, around the break, you don't forget to put your stop losses, and a good stop loss could be around this area here, around the 76.36 mark. Because if this reverses back down and moves lower here, then I mean, well, it could continue trading lower and could sit below this downwards moving trend line. So potentially this is a scenario that you could probably examine. Like I said, a nice break here above this downwards moving trend line could set the stage initially for this level right here, the 77.10, approximately there. And if this one doesn't hold, well, it is opening the path towards these highs that we had here around the 14th of June, and that's around the 77.95 mark. So if to kind of picture it nicely, so for example, let's say if you're entering a position around here somewhere, let me just quickly adjust this. So let's say if you're entering a position on a break, then probably it would be very safe to have your stop loss around this area here. And you could initially target this level right here, the 77.10, and let's say a scenario, if you're in profit already, then well, you could shift your stop loss quickly just above your entry price, just in case if this suddenly reverses back down and and moves lower below this downwards moving trend line.
So for now, but if this continues actually to move just slightly above the 77.10, then yep, we could end up testing this 77.95 mark that I was just talking about. So potentially this could play out as a very nice trade, but only of course if we get a nice break here above this downwards moving trend line. So keep an eye on this one, guys. On the downside, certainly, let's get rid of this a little bit for now. On the downside, well, if we see a drop here below this level, just let me mark that one, below this level right here, and that's probably, this applies for today, and that's around the 75.45 mark. If we start breaking it to the downside, well, stay sharp. I mean, this could play out as a trade, potentially aiming for this one, these lows that we had here at around 75.10 mark, which we had, the lows that we saw around the 25th and 26th of June. We could end up moving towards that area here. And certainly, of course, if you are going to try to trade this one, don't forget to put your stop loss. Certainly for this, I mean, if we're targeting only that area here, then for this one you would probably need to put a very tight stop, which doesn't allow a lot of room for maneuver, but it's totally up to you guys. So to be honest, I wouldn't enter a trade here, because judging by this 4-hour chart here, we can see that we've got the 200 EMA approaching that level as well, so could stall the price for a little bit, and we could, I mean, this is where the bulls and the bears could start battling it out, and yep, to be honest, it becomes a very tricky zone for potential shorts. So that's why the more attractive option for a short could be, let me just highlight that area, could be a break of this level right here, the 75.10 that I was just talking about, and this is where we could start aiming for lower levels like these lows that we had here around the 25th of April, and that's approximately around the 73.36 mark. So good area, good strong area of potential support, but that's only if we get a nice break here below the 75.10. So that's quite a decent drop, to be honest, but nevertheless, we could eventually see something like that happening. Let's quickly touch on a few, on one commodity that I want to show you guys, and that's WTI. So looking at the bigger picture, looking at this daily chart, we can see that yes, I mean, it had a nice run here. We broke this upwards moving trend line and managed to get back above it, and we had a strong rally here towards these highs that we had here in May. So the highest point in May, approximately around the 72.90 area. So we managed to break it to the upside. Certainly there was another small level that was slightly above it, the 73.25 mark, approximately there. Now that's marked by the by a good level here, and certainly we 72.90 kind of acts as a nice area of support here, because we saw the price kind of retracing back down, getting, well, hitting that 72.90 and then pushing back up again. We can see that there's a lot of doji candles forming here already too, and certainly now we're seeing a bit of a move, a bit some negativity in this commodity, and we're seeing another push lower. Certainly it's just the early morning right now, and we could maybe retrace back up again if the bulls take the driver's seat. So but for now, of course, this is looking quite bearish. We could end up moving towards this 72.90 mark again. We could get a test of that area again, and of course, if this time it doesn't hold and we start breaking it to the downside strongly, then, well, it is opening the path towards these lower levels here. Certainly this line kind of becomes a bit irrelevant right now, to be honest. Let's get rid of that, and we could see a move here, a drop maybe towards this area right here at around 69.55 area, approximately there. So good potential area for support, but that's only if we see a strong move lower here below the 72.90. On the upside, let me just put a 4-hour chart for this one. On the upside, well, we would need to see a, oh, there we go. I need to move the chart a little bit, guys, here, sorry. There we go, put it down a little bit, and if we get a nice push here above this area here, I mean, to be honest, let's say even if we're going to take the highest point here at around the 75.25 mark, so for us to kind of become more bullish on this one, we would need to see a nice push above this area here in order to kind of start considering higher levels. So for now, it is difficult to talk about the upside judging by this picture right now and just seeing how this 4-hour chart is developing right now. I mean, we can see that the price kind of got back now below this 21 EMA, certainly tried to break it to the upside, but then moved lower again. So now we're kind of holding here below this this line, this 21 EMA, so which is kind of slightly a bearish signal for now, because you're also seeing that it's turning to the downside as well. So for now, keep an eye on this one, guys. I mean, certainly we did have a good run on this one, and certainly we could maybe see another test of the 72.90. Let's have a quick look at the euro dollar, and euro dollar is finally making its move above this downwards moving trend line here, or should I call it more of a resistance line. So we finally made a breakthrough here. Certainly not a strong breakthrough, just because it dragged itself out of it, and now at this point probably we're going to still remain cautious. We do have a good area of resistance excuse me, resistance at around 117.250. Now if we do get a nice break here, a nice pop to the upside, then this is where we could start examining the higher levels here, especially the 118.400 and above. But for now, keep a close eye on the 117.250. Certainly this pair, this one, certainly at the moment it kind of looks bullish, and but for us to kind of become, it moves back below this downwards moving trend line. Let me just take this line here. We need to see a good break here below this area right here at around approximately the 116.250. Now this is where we could start examining, or actually, I mean, I do apologize, I will correct myself here. So probably a good level to watch would be the 116.300 here, so approximately there. So nice break below this could open the path towards lower levels. The next potential target could be this one right here at around 115.900, and then of course below that. But for now, certainly keep a close eye on this one. Keep a close eye on the 117.250. Let's have a quick look at GBPUSD. Now GBPUSD is also trying to push higher. Yesterday we saw in this candle area that I was talking about, the 132.15, continues to look somewhat, you to see excuse me, a nice move above yesterday's highs at around 132.50. So a nice pop above this one is opening the path, could open the path, to be honest, towards this 133.15 zone. So so probably for now I'm going to shift this little highlighted area towards this one right now. So a very important level to watch today. Certainly, like I said, if we get a nice pop here above the 132.50, we could end up pushing higher initially towards this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and then maybe towards this 133.15. On the downside, if we get a break below this area here, below this 132.15 again, well, we could see something like a drop here towards this upwards moving trend line. We could end up testing it, and if this trend line continues to hold, well, we could see another reversal back to the upside, and we could start heading for these levels that we were trading at, and we initially could test this 132.05, but this is what I'm talking about, the potential move lower here and test of this upwards moving trend line, and then reversal back to the upside. So we could start testing that area again, and then maybe this time if we get a break below this, then, well, I mean, you probably should set yourself for a potential test of the 131 area again. So good, strong potential area of support here, the 131. But that is only, of course, if we see a nice break here below this upwards moving trend line. So for now, if you want to probably position yourself for a potential buying opportunity here, then, like I said, a break above the 132.50 could set the stage for higher levels, and you could see something, maybe something like this. This is just an idea for you guys. So oh, there we go. We could maybe place a position something like this, where we could start aiming for these highs, and it would look something like this, where we could have our stop loss around this level that I was talking about, the 132.15. But that's only if, like I said, if we get a nice break here, start breaking the upper side, the 132.50. So we could play out with a position of like this. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll have to wrap it up here. I kind of a little bit went over my time limit, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. Please join me later on my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. So for now, thank you very much, and bye bye.